Hello, this is a Pacesetter training video on how to deal with and address when other people are meeting with you during your field inspection of the risk. It's very common when you're out doing your field inspections that you're going to be meeting with other people at the inspection. That would be probably the insured, maybe their contractor, a public adjuster. It could be, on occasion, potentially an agent or maybe even an attorney, depending on what's going on with the loss. This sometimes can affect adjusters in different ways. It might intimidate adjusters if they're maybe a little bit less experienced and knowledgeable. It may frustrate more experienced adjusters just to have someone there getting in their way, so to speak. In any of these cases, try to avoid feeling like this or reacting this way when people meet you at the inspection. There are several reasons for this, but in general, try to keep in mind and have the mindset that a claim has been filed and somebody is probably going to meet with you there, particularly in the most common case, the insured. This is their property. It's damaged. They're concerned about it. They want to be there to meet with you, a representative of the insurance company, so that they can kind of find out what you're going to do, what's going on, what the process is. Because again, this is one of the most important pieces of property or physical property that they probably own in their life. It's very important to them. It's usually their home that they live in. So again, very important. So just think about that. You're kind of walking into their world and we want to give them service. If someone else is there besides them or with them, say their contractor or a PA if they're representing the insured, it's the same type of thing. Those people have been contracted by the insured or asked by the insured to meet with you. It may be on a consultation basis. It may be on a legal basis, if it's a PA, for instance. Keep that in mind. We're there to help the insured and to professionally, courteously deal with talking to them and helping them through the claims process, and that includes any of their representatives as well. Now, it doesn't always work out that way, as you may know, in the real world. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to handle this kind of thing. So some adjusters, for instance, they will have the insured walk around with them. They'll follow them. The insured's asking questions and pointing things out. Maybe the contractor's doing that. It kind of gets the adjuster off their game a little bit, out of their rhythm. And maybe when they're done with the inspection, they forget to take a picture or two that may be required or necessary to complete their claim properly. Maybe they forget to take a measurement or two when they may have to go back out to the risk. The way that you try to deal with that particular problem, if somebody is not intentionally necessarily trying to interrupt you, but they're just concerned, following you around and want to point things out to help make sure that you're addressing everything, one way you can handle this is to stop them briefly and say, Mr. Insured, Mr. Contractor, I know you're concerned about the loss, but I have a certain methodology and a system that I do, and I want to do the best job and the most thorough, accurate inspection that I can. So if you don't mind, please let me kind of finish the inspection first and get through my systems that I use. And after that's done, I'm going to be more than happy to sit down with you, answer questions you may have, and even walk around the house. If there's something that you want to point out to me, I'll be more than happy to walk around the property with you and we can address that together. Most of the time when that happens, the person is going to concede. They're going to say, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to get in your way. Yes, please go about your business and do your job for me. And when you get done, come talk to me. I'd appreciate that. That's usually the best way to handle it. Again, we want to handle that with courtesy, kindness, and professionalism to just kind of let them know that we're here to do the best job that we can for you, Mr. Insured, Mrs. Insured, and I want to give you the best service that I possibly can. And I kind of have a system and a rhythm that allows me to do that consistently. So if you don't mind, if you'll just please let me complete my systems, and then I'll be more than happy to meet with you. That usually works. Sometimes you might get contractors, let's say, that maybe are a little bit pushy. They're trying to push some damages on you that maybe you don't think is cover damage. Maybe you're not sure. Again, try to handle that with courtesy, with professionalism. You can ask them to just hold on. Let me kind of take a look at everything first. If you have anything that you want to point out to me, make note of that. When I'm finished with my inspection, I'll be more than happy to look at that with you. We can discuss this. Another thing you may see roofers do or contractors, you show up, it's say a wind or hail claim, but particularly you'll see this on hail, and you show up and they've already been on the roof and they've marked all these circles and chalked the roof up. I would recommend that you talk to the contractor and help them understand the process and say, look, it's probably not a good idea that you do this. Certainly you want to point out things to the adjuster, and that would be me. Say you're the adjuster showing up. You want to point out these damages to me. I'm the adjuster. I certainly understand that. In the future, I would recommend don't chalk the roof up, because the adjuster is going to get here and do his inspection or her inspection. They are going to have to chalk things up. It may mix with your chalk. Then they're going to have to cross things out, explain things in their narratives and their photos a little bit better. It makes their job a little bit harder. So what I recommend you do when you talk to the contractors in this case is, if they want you to look at something, put a little tick mark. Don't circle it. Just put a little period, something, up around the 2 o'clock range, around a hail hit or something like that. And let them know that, hey, if you'll just put a little tick there, I'll come back and take a look at that afterwards. Or when we're working on the test squares or the scope inspections on the roof, we can take a look at that. But try to avoid marking up the roof is something I would tell them. If you do run into somebody that is more belligerent, that are disagreeing on you with something, and you're having a little bit more difficult time dealing with that, one thing you need to understand is that on site, you are the 800-pound gorilla, basically. Now, there's a caveat to that. What that means is that is your inspection. You are going to scope the house the best of your ability. You are going to write that estimate to the best of your ability based upon the guidelines provided to you by the carrier and their processes and protocols. You're going to follow those in both instances, whether you're scoping and or writing. You want to try to let the other party know this, that you want to try to stress that you're there to serve the insured, to do the best job you can possible. However, you are under certain restraints as far as policy guidelines, scoping guidelines, processes, and protocols that are instituted by the carrier. You can let them know that as well, but you're going to do the best you can and be as thorough and accurate as possible within those guidelines. If the person continues to be belligerent with you, you can kind of take them off to the side and reiterate these things. Try to be, again, keep your professionalism. You always want to control the situation. This is your claim. Pretty much what you say out there goes. That could change a little bit based upon management or carrier or desk adjuster decisions. You can certainly let the insured know this, that yes, I'm going to do the best job possible I can here. However, your claim is going to go through a review process, and the final decisions will be made by either the desk adjusters and or the carrier. So you can let them know that you're going to photograph, document everything that you can, and you're going to write an estimate, submit that in a report with other information, and that's going through a review process, and that somebody above you or apart from you in another department will make the final decision on what that estimate is going to be and what the payment's going to be. So that will also help alleviate a little bit of the responsibility off of you that the insured and or the contractors may think that you have. A lot of times the insured, particularly, sometimes contractors too generally, but it's more often that insureds don't understand the claims process in general. Maybe they've never filed a claim before. Maybe they have, but it's been years ago. Maybe it went well. Maybe it didn't. Your job is to try to the best of your ability make that claim process go as smoothly as possible for the insured, at least as far as your portion of the claim process goes. You're probably the most important person in the process, in that you're the one that comes out and meets with the insured, shakes their hand, maybe sits down with them at their dining room table or couch and explains a few things, answers a few questions. So you spend the most time with them physically on their property. So the adjuster can make or break that claims process for the insured. Just remember, it's kind of your show. You don't want to be arrogant and egotistical in that mindset, but you want to know that this is your inspection and you're going to use your training, certifications, expertise, knowledge, and the guidelines and policies laid down by the insured. All of those things, you're going to do the best of your ability to stay within those guidelines and provide that service to the insured. And you want to let them know that as well. That goes a long way. Once they see that you care and that you really want to do a good job for them, they usually will back off a little bit and they'll give you a little bit more trust, and it'll be a better experience for them and for you as well. So, keep these things in mind. We're there to serve the insured. You do want to get as much training as you can and experience. That goes a long way. The more training and experience and knowledge that you have, the better you can control, the better that you can run your inspections, the better inspections that you can do. You're better at damage evaluation. You're better at knowing construction. You're better at knowing what repair methodologies may be better than others, that type of thing. So it's always good to be more knowledgeable in your trade. So I highly recommend that you do as much training as you can, get as many certifications as you can that will make you as good as you possibly can. And in closing, keep in mind that you are a professional. This is not really necessarily a blue-collar job. Certainly there's nothing wrong with blue-collar jobs, but this isn't also a white-collar job. But I like to tell adjusters that you are a professional. This is a career-type job, and you are a trained, and the key is here, certified, licensed professional. You do have certain requirements that you have to go through. CE training and credits, your initial licensing, and any certifications that you may or should have to do your job properly. So keep that in mind, that you are a trained professional and you want to handle yourself and have the mindset of a trained professional when you are out interacting with other people in the claims process representing the carrier. So I hope that helps you out in the field. Always, if you have more questions or you run into situations like this or others that maybe we have not talked about here that you might want to ponder, you might want to get a little bit of expertise and ask somebody else, certainly give us a call. Talk to your claims manager or your claims supervisor, and they'll be more than happy to help you with situations like this and others. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you on the next video. Take care.